I should have not checked her phone. We've been together 4 years, living together most of that. We actually dated for a few months, then broke up for a while. Then got back together and it's been 4 years the second time. We're not married, but it feels like we are and we occasionally tell people we are. From the outside we actually have a very good relationship. From the inside, as well, for the most part, we're very affectionate and really enjoy being together, and we fit really well. All relationships have ups and downs, and I think right now we're in more of a downswing. The problem is that I sometimes don't give her enough attention and don't think of fun things for us to do. I have 2 businesses and took on another job from a guy with an idea. And the stress is affecting me. When I have free time, I'm more likely to want to relax at home than go downtown and do something social with my GF. And I haven't been happy much lately. Even in this downswing we went out a couple nights ago and she told me more than once how she's so in love with me and we're so lucky to be together. That said, she's very flirtatious and it bothers me. I've had a hard time trusting her completely due to this and some things from the beginning of our relationship, but that was before we were exclusive. I've never been the least bit jealous or mistrusting with anyone else I've dated. So I feel like I may have good reason. I found this site a few months ago when her sister got divorced and I was looking up stuff pertaining to them. I started reading and have become a regular lurker until today. So many stories I read and thought, wow, I'm so glad I have a good relationship. Then last night it all crumbled. Last night she was asleep on the couch and on a tiny hunch I looked through her phone. I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't been reading this site where so many people feel spouses don't have a right to secrets. She stated in the past that she's very against people invading her privacy with regards to her phone. The first person in her text message list was unknown, name not stored with hash and contacts. But 800 of the 2,000 messages stored on her phone were to this person. I read through them and my heart sank. It was some guy, there was inappropriate talk, provocative photos shared. Not naked, but so what? Like her butt in a pair of sexy panties, his back muscles, shoulder tattoo. Most of the talk was regular convo, but there were some mentions from him expressing his desire for her. Wanting to devour her. Good night. Her, that was not very endearing, but I guess I can work with it. Don't expect me to not be thinking of doing things to you. Her, things you shouldn't keep to yourself. Next morning. Her, good morning, kiss. I'm ultra tired this morning. Busy day. Wanting to do some naughty things to you right now. That's probably the worst of it, or at least of the portion I was able to read, but there was another volley that went something like she was asking about his day. He had a lot going on. She said, should I send you a pic for motivation? She didn't send any pics that time. She met this guy around a year ago at a catering she was doing and has been texting since. A couple months ago we had a problem over this very thing with this guy. We were watching TV one night and her phone got a text MSG. I passed it to her and noticed the name as a male's name I didn't recognize. I asked her about it and she immediately snatched the phone out of my hand and got very defensive. I felt it had to be something inappropriate and went off. Not screaming or yelling but telling her how shocked and disappointed I was and questioning our relationship. She ended up deleting all of the messages before I had a chance to ask to see them, and within a day or so we made up and she promised to never contact him again. Clearly that didn't happen. She says she's seen him at one other catered event and ran into him out of the blue at the farmer's market 2 months ago. She says those are the only times she's seen him and has never done anything physical. Nor would she. I do believe her despite how everyone here will tell me where there's smoke there's fire. And they've definitely done it. There was no mention whatsoever in the texts of any kind of plans to meet or talk about past meetings. I pretty much always know where she is if she's not with me. And when she does caterings, she usually has my little brother or a mutual friend working with her. Also, she's not a very good liar. I can usually tell when she's lying. When I started reading, I was stunned. I felt dizzy and disoriented and like I was in another universe. I couldn't hardly believe it. It's so hard for this to register in my brain, as it so doesn't fit with the way she talks and acts with me. As if she loves me completely and is all mine. I tried to call him from her phone a few times but he wouldn't answer. I tried again today from my phone and with the number blocked, but no answer? While I just said I don't think they did anything physical, I still can't get the thought out of my mind. I mean, with only her word to go on, how can I help but wonder? Right now, I feel like total crap every time I think about it. She slept on the couch last night and has been crying. She's apologized profusely and really doesn't want to break up. I'm not giving her the silent treatment, but I'm not initiating conversation and don't want to touch her or do things with her. I do deep down, but I feel it's wrong after the betrayal. It really sucks, though, because I'm going against deeply ingrained behavior that makes me feel good. I hate this, but I can't just act like things are okay. I've got to figure out where to go from here. I want to get married, I want to have kids, and I wanted it to be with her. I wish so much for this one thing about her to be different. It was totally wrong of me to neglect her, but I'm aware of it and have every intention of changing it. But how can I marry someone I can't trust to remain faithful through the hard times? Marriage won't always be easy. She has plenty of problems stemming from her childhood, controlling father, and she admits it. She says she's not sure why she participated in this attention-seeking behavior, but it did provide some measure of good feelings which she felt she needed. I'm sure it's related to her childhood. She also says her self-esteem is low, and this was one way of getting self-esteem boosts and feeling desired. I can deal with issues, but I've got to have trust. How can you regain trust? I know how I'm going to sound when I say this, as I, myself, have read many other people's threads and thought, man, dump her. There's many more fish in the sea. But she really is special. I've dated plenty of women and I'm not blindly enchanted. I've never been with anyone else I thought would make a better mother for my children. She's a really great person. Everyone that meets her loves her. So many people have told me how lucky I am and said I'd better hurry up and marry her. We do both have a lot invested in each other, and I am still madly in love with her. She's very attractive as well. This is a really tough situation and I appreciate everyone's input. Comments. I feel for your situation, but let's boil down the facts. 1. You aren't married to her or her to you. Even if you've been together for several years, you aren't even engaged. Does she have a duty to be loyal to you in your relationship? I'm not so sure about that. If you were engaged, which means there is a commitment to marry and a date to marry, would be something more solid. Which brings me to the next point. 2. What are her desires for marriage? If she is enjoying her singleness, and these silly men who want to get with her, she may not be marriage material yet. Best case scenario, you get engaged and she drops the guy. Worst case scenario, you get engaged, and she still chats and flirts with the guy, decides to have a last fling before marriage. Which of these two extremes do you see her tending towards? What would that tell you about her character? She may be right for you, but you have to realize that you may not be right for her. And it appears she isn't ready to settle down and make a serious commitment. Dating should only be used, as opposed to shacking up, to determine someone's suitability mutually for marriage. If you've been shacking up, you've already got 2 strikes against a future marriage. The type of behavior she is displaying with this other guy. Strike 3, she should be out. Good luck with this, and I hope it works out best for both of you. She is only upset because you caught her, otherwise she would be fine with it as she has been. I would bail. 2 years later, OP responds, as much as I didn't want to believe it, most of what you guys said was accurate. But we started going to counseling, and I stayed with her until now. It's been rocky, and I've been let down, outraged several times over honesty issues. Yet stuck around, I guess because I'm stupid, lazy, scared, or all of the above. Despite any previous messages having been deleted, I was able to look through the logs, history, and saw that there had been a 9-minute phone call at 3:57 p.m. and 18 messages back and forth between them from 9:30 a.m. to 11:10 a.m. and 8 messages yesterday. I sent some messages using her phone, something about the last pic I sent him, and got confirmation that she has sent him pics, though apparently she already deleted those. I found plenty of selfies of her on her phone and never thought much of them because she sends them to me, too. Apparently, I got on her Facebook and found messages between the two of them dated March 20th. This was right at the time when the power button of her phone was going out. I bought a new one in a few days. When it arrived, I took apart her phone, soldered in the new one, and it was fixed. Here's what the messages said. Her, hey, something is seriously wrong with my phone. I know what you think it might be. Is there a warranty? Her, I have no idea, but for the short term, no messages. Okay, no worries, but that is going to suck. Going to miss you. Her, me too. Hopefully I can figure it out. OP is really good at these things, so between the two of us I think there will be hope for it. Clearly, she was worried about him sending messages after her phone was completely inoperable with her unable to delete them. Then me repairing the phone and finding them before she had a chance to delete. This also shows he knew about me, which he denied when I texted him from my number and straight up asked him. Also, they've been inappropriately chatting for weeks at a minimum. But whatever, he lives a few states away and they met on a business trip a few months ago. I don't think there's been anything physical, but I don't trust anything now. This is so disgusting, gut-wrenching, and downright crappy. Don't worry, I have no delusions. I am completely done with her. Thank God I kept the doubt in my mind these past couple years and didn't marry her. Right now, I want to post the pics I took of her phone showing the messages and the proof of further messaging, as well as the pic I took of the Facebook messages. I want to expose her to everyone, but I wonder if it's a bad idea to do so. What negative repercussions could come of it? Also, while not married, we live together and have for years now. I pay for almost everything, though. I bought the house with no help whatsoever from her. And I pay for everything except for the water, electric, gas. I've even paid her car note a few times recently because she's been low on money. And I actually paid the utilities last time. Few months worth. When they were really past due. Also, her mom is currently staying with us for care after a hip surgery. But whatever, I showed her mom the messages and she was disgusted, as well. She says she doesn't understand, because she always speaks highly of me and about how she really wants to work out all of our issues and she only wants to be with me. What's the best way to separate our lives? This just sucks. I'm getting older, 35, and I'm ready for marriage and to have kids. I really wanted it to be with her, because she has so many good qualities. And they're really good. But this dishonesty, cheating is a deal breaker. I feel like it's back to the starting board and I'm running out of time if I want kids. But like I said, I'm done with her. So despite those feelings, I will move on. So, I guess to sum it up, I have 3 questions. 1. What do you think about a Facebook exposure? Any negative repercussions? 2. What's the best way to separate our lives considering the above details? 3. This suck. I hate feeling like this and having to get back in the game and scared of not being with her. I know the memories of all the good times are going to tear me apart as they come. Despite everything, I highly doubt she's ever touched him physically. She does this crap for attention to augment her crippled self-esteem, not that it makes it okay or anything. Anyways, he's uglier than me, fatter than me, balder than me. Her mom is temporarily staying with us post-hip replacement surgery. And I showed her everything on the phone. She was disgusted and shocked. Summary of summary. I never married her, and I'm done with her. It's over. Comments. Everything you said sounds like it's coming straight from your heart. And fortunately, body part that does reasoning and thinking is your brain. Learn to ignore your heart. Your girlfriend cheated on you and completely broke your trust. Even if it wasn't physical, which I would assume it might have gotten, based on what you found, it's still cheating. Flip the page. Ask her how she would feel in your shoes. I think you did the right thing looking at her phone. She gave you every reason to do so, as you already caught her out initially and knew something was up, etc. Next natural step would be to look further. People that are on the extreme side of privacy are the ones that one should be concerned with. If one has nothing to hide, there is no reason for privacy. To an extent, of course. My advice, this is straight from my brain since my heart has no place in your relationship currently. You tell her exactly what she did wrong and leave her for good. No future contact, etc. Nothing. When and if you do, also ask her what you did wrong in the relationship. See if you can learn from your mistakes. I have a feeling workaholic can be an issue. Just a shot in the dark. Find out and do your best to pay attention to whatever that is in your next relationship. Middle ground would be to go to counseling and see if that helps. And fortunately, once trust is broken, it is very hard to ever get over that hump, and most people fail in the end anyways. I find it funny how you said, she is truly special. This is a perfect example of heart thinking here. If she was truly special, she would have never went off and have an intimate relationship with another man. A good, smart woman will come to you and communicate about her troubles and things that are slowly might in the future put her over the edge and leave you. Someone truly special also lets one go and takes time to hear. Recover long before they get into another relationship. She is quite opposite of special IMO. Assuming you do leave, remember, it will be completely natural to feel like complete crap if you love this girl. It will take time to heal and recover, but, in the end, it's for the best. Do not date before your love for her is completely gone. In time, you will be way better off. Good luck. OP responds. I already told her it's over. I was actually pretty upset when I confronted her and said a lot of things. I still stand by most of them, like telling her how selfish she is. But one thing I said is really bothering me. I called her a piece of crap. She immediately said, "You're right, I am a piece of crap." This is really tearing me up inside. As wrong as she was for what she did, I really wish I hadn't called her that. I haven't hardly talked to her since, and haven't addressed that, but I want to apologize for that. At the same time, I don't want her to think I'm forgiving her. It's going to be a drawn-out process to end it completely. I bought the house we're living in completely by myself, with no help from her. She started her own business a year or two ago, and since then I've been mostly supporting us. Especially the last several months after she lost her best client. She pays the water, electric, gas, and her car note, and probably half of the food, but I pay for everything else. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, auto insurance for both of us. Internet, TV, her phone, my health insurance. Life insurance with her as beneficiary. And my father. Everything when we go out or go on vacation. I've also paid her car note the last 2 months and paid 3 months worth of utilities recently when she let them get way behind. I also gave her $16,000 to pay back a friend she'd borrowed money from, who was requesting repayment. Also, as I mentioned, her mom is temporarily staying with us after a hip surgery so we can care for her as she heals. The house is full of her stuff. Her father passed a couple years ago and left 3 huge storage rooms full of stuff. It was a monumental effort to get them cleaned out, and she now has a ton of stuff. She can't afford to just rent some place and move out. As angry as I am with her, I do still love her and don't want to be excessively harsh. Plus, while I'm committed to ensuring this stay ended, I know this is going to be a hard battle for me. I'll probably need to read threads here every day for a while. Any suggestions on logistics of the split? I know she's going to want to try some kind of roommate thing at least for a while, but I really don't think that would work or be healthy. I'll also speak with an attorney. There's a free service here where you call, explain your issue, and they'll find an appropriate attorney for you and give you the contact info. The attorney then gives you a free 30 minutes consultation. Let me explain. I'm ready to settle down, get married, have children. In fact, I feel like time's getting a little short, and she won't even stop drinking, so it seems the relationship was going nowhere. I'd pull back a little, she'd get unhappy, and her reaction would be to get and naggy, and constantly second-guessing my choices and decisions. Always having to argue with something I said, I guess in some attempt to prove she's smart. Which pushed us further apart, and it seems once every few months she'd do something to rip the band-aid off of the dishonesty wound and cause me to lose trust. Like most recently when I was wrapping up at work and we were going to watch a movie at our friend's house. So, like I do at the same time every night, I call her. But no answer? So, I go home, she's not there. Call again, still no answer. Eat something, call again an hour later. No answer? Go ahead and go to friends to watch the movie, call again, and now it goes straight to voicemail like her phone's off. Our friends don't know where she is. I called a couple other friends. Nobody's heard from her. I'm already mad because it's not cool to disappear without communication. Especially when we had plans. Our friends are worried. Accident. I tell them I'm not. This is typical. She's probably doing something or with someone that she doesn't want me to know about. They can't believe it. Finally, she calls back halfway through the movie, but I let it go to voicemail, finish the evening with friends, and go home. Turns out I called it. She ran into an old friend of hers with whom she'd had slept with a handful of times. He invited her to drinks at a neighborhood restaurant, and she went. I asked her why she ignored my calls. She said her phone died. I said BS, it didn't die until after at least 3 calls of mine. Oh, she couldn't hear it in her purse. Okay, why the duck didn't you call me? Oh, it slipped her mind. I call BS and push harder, and finally she admits that she knew I would not approve, and she didn't want to be embarrassed by my reaction on the phone and forbidding her from doing it. Then she quickly tried to go back to clinging to I forgot. I couldn't hear my phone, and it died. Bullcrap, you selfishly chose some stupid thing you wanted over respect for me and our relationship. And you're ducking lying. The right thing to do would be to suck it up and call me or answer the phone. Go ahead and tell me she wanted to go to drinks with him. Let me react however I wanted to react. Then go on about life. Even if she'd said, I want to have drinks with him and I'm going to, even if you say no. It would have been infinitely better than the dishonesty approach. Anyways, that and 1 or 2 other dishonesty situations kind of marked the beginning of the end. And after each one, I'd feel like I'd been lied to, yet she still claimed she'd done nothing wrong and certainly not been dishonest. So I got no kind of closure, and it pushed me farther away, to where I didn't want to sleep with her. Because she didn't deserve it. She dissed me, still claims she did nothing wrong, so I'm still not happy with her, but am expected to just sweep it under the rug until it goes away. I'm not worried about finances. In fact, I expect my monthly expenditures to decrease after she's gone. I'm dead set on finally ending this. I made that decision before coming up dating. I know it's going to be really difficult for me and really sad. That's why I'm here, to keep me thinking logically about this. And because it helps to talk about what's causing anguish. But by all means, don't believe it till you see it. You will see it, though. She's out of town working until Sunday, so we really haven't talked since the confrontation. Sunday evening is going to suck. I'm going to stand firm. There will be much crying, and it'll make me sad. Because as much as I hate her guts, I still have love for her. A day later, today has been better, busy with work all day and with friends through the evening. Some of the anger is subsiding and I'm thinking more like my typically logical self. I can see there's a good chance for reconciliation, and I should beg her for that. Just kidding about the last part. The anger subsiding and more logical thought is here. I know this is going to rub some of the more hurt people here the wrong way. Being an ex-addict, alcoholic, myself, recovering I suppose, I can kind of identity with her. The selfish desire to feed emotions at all cost. Struggling for scraps of self-esteem in the gutter. Metaphorically, and I can even empathize with the hurt I was causing her. Really, this is the breaking point of something that has been going on longer. I have been withdrawing from her and not giving her what she needs, and I would probably have felt bad, too, if the tables had been turned. I, however, would not have turned to lies, deceit, and cheating. I don't know how I would have responded to my partner treating me the way I did her. Perhaps a relapse with the drugs or booze, who knows, but definitely not cheating. I now see her for who she really is, without deluding myself, and there's no reason I'd want her in my life. I deserve to be with an honest person. Regarding me feeling bad about calling her a piece of crap, I've been taught that it's poor form to criticize someone by calling them a name, and better to criticize their actions. Believe it or not, as hard as it is possible for people to change. A person can't really change their self per se, but they can change their actions. So, calling someone a name really just hurts them emotionally with no gain other than maybe a little temporary satisfaction for you. Criticizing their actions will initially give them the same effect but leaves them an avenue to redeem themselves by changing the offending actions, and thereby become a better person. So, I do feel bad when I tear down someone just to make myself feel better, even when they deserve it. Anyways, I'm now trying to take the emotion out of it and treat this like business. The two of us just don't work, and we're not going to in the foreseeable future. So, it's over. The next order of business is to move on to the next stage of my life, which means getting her out of here with the least amount of stress, drama, and cost should it come to that. I'm still young and dumb, but one thing I've learned in business is not to do or say anything that doesn't benefit you more than the damage that could be done by possible repercussions. Emotional satisfaction doesn't count for much benefit. So, if my goal is to get her out of here, being a jerk about it is likely not going to be the best way. More flies with honey blah blah blah, you get the idea. Though it's a stupid analogy since rotting meat would catch the most flies. For instance, instead of just saying get the hell out by XYZ, maybe help her find a place. I haven't thought this through yet, but my dad lives on the other side of town with an empty bedroom. He's also currently housing many of the more valuable things from her dad's estate in his living room, and has been asking her to figure something out for them. Maybe she could room with him for a bit and sort her possessions issue at the same time. Just an idea, maybe a bad one. And no, it's not to keep her close. I very rarely go over there. Thank you for the reminder for the VOR. I'm getting one tomorrow. I'll also be seeing a lawyer Monday morning. A week later, she's out as of yesterday. The part-time job is asking her to work a lot more, pretty much full-time. So looks like the stars are aligning to help my situation. This job is in a town 1 hour away, and her friend's mother has a house there that she had just started looking for a renter to rent. It'll probably take a while to get all of her stuff out, though, and wow, I wasted a lot more time and mental energy than I should have over the past week or so. I kept trying to just be mentally decoupled from her, avoid and ignore, but somehow I kept letting her drag me into these long drawn-out, purposeless discussions. She's still saying she wants to salvage our relationship and asking if I'll come out there to visit her. I told her she just wants the comfort of familiarity and not to be lonely while she's actively searching for the next sucker. I told her to deal with it and leave me out of it. I don't think a word I've ever said has registered with her, though, except of course anything that ever hurt her feelings. She's a liar and a cheater. She thinks she knows what love is, but I think she's simply insane. I don't lie to or cheat on someone I love. It just doesn't make sense to me how someone could believe that would be okay. And the first day she was back in town and talking about how she wanted me and nobody else in her life and was going to fight as hard as it took to make things work out, I had some evidence that she was full of crap and still talking to the other guy. So, I told her to be completely honest and asked her some questions, and of course she lied. Just helped firm up my resolve. But I asked her if she'd call the other guy in front of me and tell him in no uncertain terms that they were to never talk again. And she said she would. So I said do it. She did, and I could hear the pain in both of their voices, but it was done in no uncertain terms. Asking her to do this when my mind was already set was probably childish of me, but I felt they both deserved it. But whatever, I did send his wife a Facebook message detailing all of my findings with a pic attached showing all of their call text history for a single day. I offered much more evidence and photos if she wanted, but she didn't respond and instead blocked me. I don't know what's up with that, but guess I don't really care. 2 weeks later, she moved the bulk of her stuff out this weekend. She left a couple things like the couches until I can get my own, and I agreed to move them when done with them. She stayed here a couple nights while packing, and other than one discussion, really just a rehash of all the same things we've already said a million times, we were both pretty much calm, respectful and nice to each other. I do still find her quite attractive physically, and she is a great person in many ways. No doubt about that. But she's fatally flawed when it comes to relationship material for me. There are plenty of wonderful and beautiful women out there, and some of them are even honest, non-cheaters. I know a lot more about myself, what I need and want, and now have the confidence and willpower to not settle for anything less. There is a lot of good in her, and even through the pain and betrayal, I can see it. I also see the hurt I've caused her, and it makes me sad. She just wanted me to love her and care. I can think of times over the past months when she said I can feel that you don't love me, or even like me. You don't want me around, and it hurts. I'd say that's not true. I do love you. But the truth is that I was distant and withdrawn, and she felt it. Of course, a large reason for that is the trust issues I've had with her. Distrust and resentment built. I wasn't happy. Withdrew, and that made her sad. One big crappy snowball, which finally got to the bottom of the hill. So yes, I can still see the good in her. But we can't be together. The lying and cheating sealed the deal. My comment. You guys enjoyed this short story. Although OP still loved this woman, he knows deep down he can't live with someone who keeps lying behind him. Have you dealt with a partner similar to this? Sub, bell and comment down below. Check out the recent other Love TV stories and stay safe out there.